Hey, how's it going?
Time's running out for the challengers of the
Guess
unknown.
what we're talking about this week?
Ace Morgan, Daredevil
On
test pilot.
this
Professor
week's,
Mark Haley, master scientist and scuba
I
expert.
mean, sorry,
Red
scratch
Rum,
that.
famed
Last week's
adventurer and mountain climber.
exciting reading
Rocky
adventures
Ace,
because
world champion
I didn't get around to
triathlete.
doing it last week
Brave,
because
brawn,
of all the
skill,
work
and
I had to be
guts.
gone. I had to
They
go
are
5 days a
the
week last
challengers
week,
of
man.
the
It's
unknown.
insane quarter end stuff, insane quarter end stuff. So, man, I missed this series, Brave and the Bold. Um, I miss Brave and the Bold. I thought it was just tense. I need to replace that on Blu-ray. Um, and Young Justice too, man. That's another one I got replaced on Blu-ray. And especially if there are any editions to collect the entire series because they ran a bunch of episodes on the DC Universe app. I didn't get around to. Um, I have another thing, another sad news announcement. I can't make any buys this year. I can't buy in fact, if this exciting reading adventures end, which I think I got another 2 or 3 months worth to do, I'm gonna have to hope. I'm gonna probably do an edition of this year's free comic book day because I got a call from my friend Carl D'Angelo, who used to run Earth Two Comics in Sherman Oaks, and he closed that store unfortunately. Dude, that the landlord wouldn't do anything to fix the property up or protect it from vagrants sleeping in next door. I mean, the place caught on fire a couple times over the year. Almost burned some inventory over there, but the restaurants that are abandoned restaurants were set on fire, and so Carl just waved his hands like, well, I'm gonna have to end their lease. And so I thought that was the end of it. I thought that was the end of my free comic book day pile. I usually donated a bunch of money to the Heroes Initiative, and I get a full set, and then I get a couple extras to pass out to my friends at work. We have a little party about it. So he called me one day last month and say, "Hey, I still got my Diamond account, and I can order a set for you. A set, you don't have to do a big donation to the Hero Initiative, and as long as you give me 500 $150 or $200 to cover the cost of the set and extras, where you can go to town." And so I agreed to that deal. And of course, you hear what Diamond now is going under and stuff like that. Um, Ignore that pile. We're not talking about that big pile of comics there. But, that's for something else later. But he said I could come in and do the deal with him. I gotta give him a check next month, and Diamond says they'll still honor the free comic book day orders and stuff. Um, what else is the thing is I can't do Comic Cons and stuff like my rent just jacked up another $62 for the month of starting in April, and I'm up S Creek. I'm gonna be up at S Creek if I don't beg work to put in more overtime or learn a side gig at the gig I'm working at now is like me helping out with the theater operations. But let's see what happens. Uh, let's see. Challenges of the Unknown. Great team. A great team. I'm really enamored with. I have a few issues. I have a paperback paperback novel of these guys too. I don't know when it came out. So it's in that box in the bottom down there. I'm too lazy to freaking pull it out. But it was a novel that came out in the 70s. I forget who the writer was. But anyway, I don't have much synopsis on these issues. Challenges are known. Of course, it was created by Jack Kirby, possibly co-created by Joe Simon, but that can't be verified. but Jack Kirby, many people credit this series as challenges as the precursor to the Fantastic Four. It was created a few years before, and it's got the similar. It's got the four Chall, as they call them, consisting of Pilot Kyle, Ace Morgan, Daredevil Matthew Red Ryan, Strongman Leslie Rocky Davis, Scientist Walter Mark Prof Haley. They are a ragtag of mystery solvers, scientists, and sometimes joined. I'll show an example. They were sometimes joined by the brother of Matthew Ryan, Tino, who was a pop star, or some famous pop star. And later, towards the end of the series' first run, which the series ran up to 75 issues, June Robbins, computer genius. One of the faults of, I think, the challenges are known is that it was a comic book. When it hit the 60s age, they tried to use a lot of 60s slang, and I think the writer, I believe, was either Bob Haney or Arthur Drake. I'm not sure. Just the dialogue that came out of their mouths is just corny. Maybe it's in this issue, but this is issue number 60 from 1968. Called The Thing That Could Not Die. Let's see. They faced off a lot of crazy monsters in the day, who are mainly scientifically done. Oh, here, this is Tino. So I'm in this issue. Supposedly that Tino's brother got killed in an explosion, and he's filling in because he wants to find the culprits responsible. You come across these. Okay, here's an example of some cornball dialogue here they wrote here. That, didn't you know, Sonny? This is the South Pacific branch of Disneyland, and you don't need a ticket, just your life. They were not cut up to be hip. They weren't hip guys back then. But they come across a foul of. They also keep like, wow. Talk about where's that villain from Batman anime series, Lockup? He goes and captures Batman's rogues gallery and locks him up in his own private little jail. The Chals, well, they got this guy. They got that guy beat. The Chals kept their prisoners in like a basement underneath their headquarters. Wow. And who did the artwork? Was it? I forget who did the artwork on these things. Man, I wish there's like no synopsis to read about this. Oh my goodness, am I doing the wrong issue? Ah, crap! I'm doing this out of order. Anyway, this is issue number 60. Issue number 60, and this is revealed. It's revealed in here that this Culbolt guy is actually Matthew Red Ryan. So, the old man behind the door stick. Yeah, and here. Who has guards that dress up like that? Oh. Here, and Tino is going to kill him because he thinks his brother's going to start murdering people in this evolved state. So he's going to take care of him. He's going to take care of the deed himself. And he trips the Chals by locking in, like skedaddling him in a vault because he's small enough to crawl through a vent to get to the other side. But he was supposed to free the other Chals to help him out, and he just named on that deal, and decided to do the job himself, but somehow the Challs escaped, and that's that with that. There's a classic story from Jack Kirby reprinted in this one, and those Jack Kirby he drew like a few stories per issue, or maybe 6 or 7, 8 pages long. You could probably cram in 2 or 3 stories into one issue. In the late 50s. Now there's a Get Smart back ad there. That's amusing. So anyway, the two months before this one, I believe they were published bi-monthly. So okay, so make that 4 months. Yeah, this is 1967, October, November 1967. This would have been the months that my infernal half sister was born. This is Live Till Tomorrow, and I was gonna say this is the where the dialogue was just awful to read. Like, in the water, hey, here's Prof here. We must have fallen someplace near our emergency bathy spear. Stay put while I try to find and release it. And, of course, smart mouth Rocky here. Well, where do you think we'd go? To a movie? And yeah, here's sure a sign of the times. Rocky is dancing to a old pop song or something here, and they just look too old to be hip here. These guys look like they're in their 30s and 40s. This is a guy, interesting guy, Neutro, who turns out to be a freaking fake. I mean, usually the Challengers of the Unknown were sort of like an X-Files type of thing. They investigated strange paranormal mysteries and things. I believe this guy fakes them out. I believe he's got this all-powerful costume and stuff. And oh, okay, here's something I noticed. Here's something really wacky I noticed. Continuity or error or... Okay, so you see how this is laid out? Okay, there's what is it? That's Kyle, Prof, and Rocky, right? And then there's one panel. Then the next panel is somehow they switched positions here. Okay, so Prof, Rocky, and Ace there. How did that happen? How did they switch? How they switch positions from one panel to the next? That was something I caught on. Oh wow! Oh, look at that! Look at that gorgeous. That's the cartoon Saturday of all cartoon Saturdays. Look, you got all your Hanna-Barbera favorites now being done in comic books today. I mean, Herculoids, right? You get Moby Dick, which was the Impossibles, I think. Wasn't Moby Dick teamed up with the Impossibles? Oh, no. Moby Dick was teamed up with Mitor, which was... Now, here's another story I tell people that I've read that gets people hot and bothered, like Mark Evanier. I read that the reason why Hanna-Barbera came up with the story came up with Mitor because they could not get the rights to Thor. See, when Hanna-Barbera brokered the deal to make Fantastic Four into an anime series, they turned their sights onto next to Thor, but they couldn't get the Thor rights to Thor because Landry Gentry, who got the rights to Thor to make part as the Marvel superheroes syndicated cartoon that ran in '66. So a year later, So we can't get since we can't get Thor, we'll create a character with not a hammer but with a club, and they can't. That's how they came up with the idea of my Thor. He's like a distant cousin of Thor. Herculoids, my favorite ever cartoon series that I've always pitched to DC to write an origin story for, which they rejected, but yet they cherry picked it and used parts of it in a series called Future Quest. I was so mad about that. They couldn't just give me one freaking credit, a thank you credit or anything like that. Shazam, the genie. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to tell you that because I was sworn to a lawyer not to mention that out loud. But who cares? Nobody really watches this video. Superman and Aquaman teamed up, and Johnny Quest, and of course Space Ghost, which is doing very well for Dynamite right now. So, okay, so the Chall's. Oh, they're trying to find out the identity of the guy. Okay, they're trying to find out the identity of the guy, Neutro. They know there's something not kosher about that guy. Something good about that supervillain. What did it reveal to be? You can turn elements like you can turn a mattress into glass. And sure, there's a good scientific explanation for it. And they tried to prove it, and they tried to prove. Oh boy, it doesn't really reveal who it is it? Who is it? Oh, who is this guy? Oh, he turns him down to who? Okay, here it's finally revealed in the last page. Starlet. Guy named Starlet. If that's really your name. You were telling us you were an experimental physicist at Nordyke University, but how did you? Questions are useless. I will tell you nothing but my fantastic discovery. Another moment, and I will have had enough uranium fuel to make me the ruler of Earth, and I will someday. Fine, but first, you'll have to try busting your atomic head against 10 feet of concrete prison walls. And, it's just some hireling who found the power of whatever. Okay, so as you know, so the Challs, their only live action, their only trip over to media was over in that Batman the Brave and the Bold cartoon, but they appeared as a joke. At the end of Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Say, hey, when's our day gonna come? When we're gonna make popular. Oh crap! Where's my notes for Doom Patrol? Oh, there it is. I'm not really prepared today. This is a great one. This is a great villain. Now, Doom Patrol got their own TV series, live action TV series, and man, how quickly, it ran for 4 seasons. And this is the thing that bugged me about this, most about the show, or at least Brendan Fraser's publicity manager. When he was up for the show, for that movie, The Whale, I think he got Oscar nominated for that movie. They never bothered putting in his vast credits that he was Robot Man on the Doom Patrol that was currently airing at the time, or currently streaming on HBO Max at the time when the movie was nominated. He's like, let's sweep this under the rug, Brendan. And you don't think people want to know that you're acting on some low budget TV show, shot out in Atlanta. But the cover here, Animal Vegetable Mineral Man was used in the show briefly. I believe he had a cameo appearance in it. And the Doom Patrol, and challengers they used to interact a few times. I do have an issue of the Challengers, either issue that where they team up together, and I believe Rocky has worked with him as a consultant uh, in later incarnations of the team. So this is called the Animal and Vegetable Mineral Man, and let me say it was written by I know right off the bat it was Arnold Drake, and penciled by Bruno Permani. Now this book was very popular. This book was very popular for DC. They had their own little separate fan club for this series. I don't know if people know that or not, but geez, and and yes, this is from 1964. This issue here, and animal vegetable mineral man. Is why it just sounds like it. I think that Arnold Drake just took a Lucy, I Love Lucy skit, and just made it into a villain. Let's see. It started with biologist Seven Larson, a former student who once had a grudge against the chief, has become a successful scientist and apparently buried the hatched over perceived notion that the chief stole one of his ideals. Inviting the Dumatrol to witness one of his experiments, Larson is brought to the site by the Doom Patrol in their own unique way. Conducting an experiment, Larson tries to create new life from scratch, but apparently becomes a victim of his experiment when he falls into a vat of chemicals and is seemingly turned into a gigantic amoeba. As the Doom Patrol tries to stop the rampaging amoeba, they are surprised to find that the creature can change its form into any shape and form it desires. The creature manages to beat the Doom Patrol every turn and escape. When they study Larson's notes, they find that Larson had done this to himself on purpose months before becoming the Animal Vegetable Mineral Man, and makes the rampage appear as an accident, as a bizarre revenge scheme against the chief. After another battle against the Doom Patrol, the AVM Man, they shortened, abbreviated his name there, managed to have the advantage over the Doom Patrol, being able to transform into just about anything to counter them. Eventually, the chief comes up with a solution. The very device that Larson accused the chief of stealing, a device that can freeze living creatures, because it will only work for AVM Man. If he assumed the form of an animal or plant, they attack him again, tricking him into turning into a tiger, and using the device to freeze him so he cannot change shape again. With Larson's threat neutralized, the Doom Patrol are able to use his own notes in order to seemingly change him back to normal and turn him over to the authorities to seek psychiatric help. And of course, Doom Patrol is consistent of the Chief, Elastigirl, Negative Man, and Robot Man. That's the core team there, and it's coincidence that the Chief and Professor Xavier's both use for the X-Men, both use wheelchairs. It was unintentional. I don't think there was notes swapped between the two. And as you see, it's just amazing looking, beautiful stuff there. I love the Doom Patrol. I wish the back issues are so these issues are so, if you're lucky to find them like I did in a $5 box, but usually they're not there, and I gotta take advantage of finding these. I believe these were in my friend John Chang's box. He's a guy out in Pasadena who sells some good stuff for $5 to $10, and I believe that's what I found that for in here. Let's see. There's Palisades Park out in Palisades, New Jersey. Let me see. Where is that place? Palisades Music Park, New Jersey. But where was it? Anyway, it was a half mile south of George Washington Bridge, of course. Amazing, this same coupon can be used at Belmar Park in San Diego, California, where I used. That was over in Pacific Beach. I don't know if it's still. Yeah, I mean, it was there when I was living there. I mean, I think but I don't think the roller coaster was working at the time. Silly buddy. There's of course here's the exciting battle there. He can become he's a dinosaur one moment and then he becomes some sand or something. A giant spider, a unique villain. The Doom Patrol, both Doom Patrol and Challenge, they came up with some unique villains. You can't, and I guess Metal Man too. Metal Man. I put them in the same category with this. These ads, I don't get what these ads were about. They're just like little cartoons or something like that. Usually to do with hobbies and stuff. Interesting story, interesting feature here. See, this is how special Doom Patrol was. They had their own subscription page where you can. No, I mean look at these. There are only 3 titles offered on this. Like you had Rip Hunter, the Challs, Sea Devils, and 10 issues for $1. Man, imagine that, man. 10 issues for $1. Sea Devils. I gotta get some more Sea Devils. I only have one back issue of Sea Devils. I'm interested in reading more. And Rip Hunter. Oh man, those back issues are expensive too. Rip Hunter. It's hard to get hold of some of these. Okay, so there's an interesting story here. The second feature is called the Elastigirl solo story. I believe this is like the second one they've done for her. It's called The Private War of Elastigirl. And it goes, Elastigirl has been doing some charity work for Kids Town, a room for orphans, and appearing in advertisements with some of the children. One particular child, Kim Lu, concerns Rita. The boy was brought to America from North Korea, was adopted by a U.S. soldier who oh man, my screen is not very bright here. A U.S. soldier who went missing in action during the Korean War and is presumed by his and presumed to be dead. When Rita learns that Kim Lu is ill and that the only possibility to stay that he may pull through is he was reunited with his family and regain his will to live. Rita then decides to try and find Kim Lu, adopted father, in the hopes that he can help the boy recover. So traveling to Korea, she learns that the man, Lester Norton, has been injured in the line of duty and develop amnesia and returned to the States before his memory could recover. One side effect to his injuries is that loud sounds would cause bouts of shell shock. Traveling back to the States, she finds the amnesic Norton has begun working at a construction site. At the time when she confronts him, the sounds of the site cause him to have shell shock and lock himself into a TNT shack, thinking he's being attacked by the Korean army. So shrinking down to size, Elastigirl flings himself into the shack with a negative of Norton with Kim Lu. She then uses a flashlight to project an image of the negative onto the wall, causing Norton's memory to return and stop his rampage. Later, united with Kim Lu, the two end up recovering from their ordeal and reunite as a family. There's a lot of issues wrong with this story. And when this issue came in 1964, the soldier she's describing, she looks for, was supposedly injured in 1954 And as you know, the Korean War, when did it end? It ended like before what? While Eisenhower was president, right? I assume. So the thing that there are a couple things that the story just didn't really convey enough. Okay, so the guy has PTSD. There's nothing like a giant woman growing to scare the freaking crap out of a guy with PTSD. Not only that, you said he's susceptible to loud noises. Well, what the hell is he doing working on a construction site? Because there's nothing but loud noises at a construction site. Right? And the big kicker of all is when the man is reunited. When he's reunited, the kid is still 10 years old. I mean, you see, the kid hasn't grown. Unless he has really no face there either, but he's a kid. He'd be like a teenager or a young adult by the time they're reunited. It's been 10 years. So anyway, that was a little hokey there, that story. Who wrote that story? It doesn't say. No credits given. The story was reprinted. Let me see. So here's the next one. I definitely got this from someone. This is not a high grade issue. It's a little bit, but it holds together. This is Core the Conqueror issue. Now we're issue 1114, and this is in September of '67. Very short synopsis here. An experiment in time warps goes wrong and transforms Dr. Anton Koryak into Kor, a Neanderthal man who menaces the city with Dr. Koryak's powerful sonic weapon. The Dune Patrol battles and overcomes him, then changes him back to normal, while the chief continues his efforts to cure Madame Rogue. Oh yeah, she was a big thing in the TV series. She was portrayed by that British actress Michelle something. I can't remember the names of all the actors other than Brendan Fraser and Matt Boomer. Oh, and of course Timothy Dalton was not the chief. So yeah, nothing like a caveman walking around with a sonic gun. Blinky was a I guess a parody of Archie back then. DC did. Artwork. Who did the art? It's just, I mean, it's not the same art team. I don't think this is the same one. Okay, so it's written by it's Bruno. It's Bruno who did this. But it's got a slightly change in style here. The panels are much more bigger and larger and more expansive, so to say. Bob Hope. I have no issues of Bob Hope in my piles at all. I do have an issue of Jerry Lewis when Batman and Robin team up to take on the Joker. But no, I missed out on those. Let's see. That gun can take on tanks and everything. I wonder if this guy, if there's a job for him on Jellystone, for Captain Caveman. That show is pretty crazy. I like that. That's a great animated show. You ever watched it? It's on HBO Max. It's a whole parody of all the Hanna-Barbera characters living in this town, crazy hijinks. It's really raunchy. I think it's made for adults more than Major Matt Mason. That's a doll I used to have. I used to have these. When I remember that. They were weird. I mean, they were like more bendy figures than they were like actual action figures. They were like you can bend. They had bendy wires that bend and stuff like that. But it had some cool accessories. No doubt this was hardly influenced by 2001 Space Odyssey. So there's another story on here. I believe Car has popped up on the live action show too. I can't remember. Oh, this second story. I didn't catch it. It didn't dawn on me that that this was a Beast Boy story. So it's called The Kid Who Was the King of Crooks. And the Diamond Thieves who have kidnapped him used Gar Logan's shape-changing powers to rob a highly guarded vault in Johannesburg. The criminals perish, however, when the child's ideal of a practical joke causes each to suspect the other of treachery, and they kill each other. Now, isn't that a nice story? This is a Beast Boy story. I don't know offhand when Beast Boy debuted in Doom Patrol, but he was popular enough to marry a solo story about at the time, and this is a rare look at what Beast Boy was. All the crazy things he could do, changing from a giraffe to a worm to a little ape, and quite a amount. I mean, who did this story? I don't know. Nobody. Oh, okay. Who? I guess. I wonder why do I do this? I don't get any credits. It's uncredited. It's an uncredited story, but I assume it's the same team. Arthur Drake and Bruno who did the artwork for this stuff. Boy. Here's the part where he fools them. He hides the gold. They make him do all this crazy stuff. They get him. They go get him diamonds. They go get gold, and they don't feed the kid. The kid's hungry, man. He just wants food. He's doing it for food. And so this is what happened. This is going to happen with Elon Musk and Trump. We're gonna have to beg them to sign off on a carton of eggs, overpriced eggs, milk. Yeah, it's gonna be like bread lines. That's what's gonna be happening out here. It's gonna be bread lines for us all if we keep kissing the toe jam of Elon Musk, or or sniffing the crotch of Donald Trump. F-face felon 47. That's my favorite pet name for him. But that's what's gonna happen, man. All this kid wants was a bite to eat, and he couldn't even get that. So he started playing a prank on these guys by hiding the gold in one and planting evidence of the other. And they end up killing each other. Isn't that nice? And who was that? Rita Farr looking for him? I don't know. Who cares? That's all I got for this today. This pile of comics. I'm scanning into Hip Comics. So far, my total. I've got everything up to Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish. I just finished the ones I have. That's my total right there. All I got from A to Tales to Astonish, 36 grand, and 2028 comics. That's it, man. I'm almost catching up to my 4K, man. Believe it or not, man. All right, so next week we'll be talking about Captain America and the Avengers. Got some goodies to show you from there. Anyway, good night.